Hello, boys and girls. My name is Miss McDonald, and welcome back to another episode of Summer Reading. Today, I'm pretending to be a space explorer. I'm in my space costume, and I'm pretending to be out in space. I hope you'll join me as we read a space book today. Today, we're going to read Blast Off, a space counting book. Are you ready? One, two, buckle your astronaut shoe. In the 1960s, the first astronaut had to wear spacesuits and shoes with magnets to hold them down. Spacesuits were made of 15 layers of material to keep the correct pressure. All those layers and heavy shoes made it hard to move. Imagine wearing 10 pounds of shoes, 15 shirts, and 15 pairs of pants at the same time. Now, we control the pressure inside a spaceship so that astronauts can wear regular clothes. They wear spacesuits only when they leave the ship to walk in space. Astronauts are weightless in space because there's so much less gravity than there is on Earth. They must learn how to walk and float around, and they have to tie themselves down when they go to bed. Have you ever tied yourself down to go to bed? Me neither. That's so weird. 3-4, close the spaceship door. Spaceships carry a supply of air from the astronauts to breathe because there is no air in space. You cannot see, smell, or taste air, but it has pressure and weight. Inside a spaceship, the air is kept at about 15 pounds of pressure because that is what people need to breathe comfortably. Since the air pressure inside a spaceship is so high and the pressure outside is almost zero, the doors have to be built very carefully. To leave a spaceship, astronauts have to go through an area between two doors called an airlock. If there were no airlock, the moment somebody opens the doors, all the air would be sucked out of the spaceship. 5-6, use the guiding stick. The tools we normally use to find our way around Earth do not work in space. A compass, for example, only works in Earth's magnetic field. Also, there are no signs of landmarks in space to steer by. Astronauts can use the sun, the planets, and groups of stars called constellations to find their way in space. The star closest to us, Alpha Centauri, is 4.3 light years away. A light year is the distance light travels in a year, or 5,878 billion miles away. Wow, that is a long way. 7-8, set the flight path straight. We launch spaceships into space with rockets. Rockets are really just large tubes filled with explosives. When a rocket is started up, it makes explosions beneath it. These explosions push the rocket up into space. Once in space, rocket blasts are used only for changing directions. The moon is the closest object to Earth. The moon moves in a circular orbit or path around the Earth at 2,000 miles per hour. To land on the moon, the astronauts must head for the place where the moon will be in several days. So they have to shoot for where the moon's going to be, not where it is right now. Wow, that's neat. 9-10, blast off! Look how high astronauts can jump on the moon. That is because the moon's gravity is so weak. If you weighed 85 pounds on Earth, you would only weigh 14 pounds on the moon. So far, people have traveled only as far as the moon. We have sent out remote-control cameras to take pictures so that we can see what a trip into space would be like. No one has yet to be has been to a planet other than Earth. A planet is something that circles or orbits a sun. There are 9 planets in our solar system. Each one can have more than one moon. Sometimes it is possible to see planets at night. They look like stars, except they don't twinkle. 11-12, see the planets for ourselves. If you went into space, we might swing by Mercury, the closest planet to the sun. It takes one complete orbit around the sun in only 88 days. The time it takes a planet to orbit the sun is what we call a year. The surface of Mercury is rocky and has lots of giant holes called craters. Mercury was named for the fast-moving messenger in Roman mythology. Venus is a very hot planet. It is covered by clouds of carbon dioxide, the gas we breathe out. That's carbon dioxide. This gas acts like a blanket and keeps heat beneath it. On the surface of Venus, it is hot enough to melt metal. Wow, that is really hot. 1814. What a beautiful scene! Earth is the third planet from the sun. It is where we live. 2/3 of Earth's surface is covered with water. That is why it looks blue. Hundreds of years ago, people used to think that the moon, the sun, the planets, and all the stars revolved around Earth. Now we know that the planets in our solar system revolve around the sun. Have you ever seen shooting stars? They are actually chunks of rock called meteors that are burning up as they approach Earth. When you see something that looks like a slow-moving star, it is probably a satellite that scientists have sent up to orbit Earth. Once every 76 years, you might see Halley's Comet. A comet is made of gas and ice. It has a bright, fuzzy head and a tail. 1516, fly around and in between. Mars is called the red planet because it is covered with red sand. The sand is red because it is full of rusty iron. 2 oddly shaped moons circle this planet. Mars has many long channels that people thought were canals filled with water. We now know that the only water on Mars is frozen on its north and south pole. Jupiter is the largest planet in the solar system. It has more than 16 moons. Jupiter is so large that more than 1,000 Earths can fit inside it. Most of Jupiter is gas. Scientists think that the solid core of Jupiter is made of coal. It is possible that the core of Jupiter is a giant diamond. Can you imagine how big that diamond would be? 1718, find things we've never seen. Saturn is the second largest planet in the solar system, but it weighs very little. Saturn would float in water if we could find an ocean it would fit in. Saturn's rings are made up of ice and dust. The ice and dust form lumps that can be as small as a grain of sand or as large as a truck. Uranus is a strange planet. It has rings like Saturn, but not as large. Uranus is turned on its side so that each pole of the planet faces the sun, and it's light for half of the year while the other half is dark. 1920, this is as far as we want to be. Neptune is a very cold planet. Of its several moons, Triton is the largest. Triton has volcanoes that spit ice instead of fire. One moon, Nereid, orbits counterclockwise, which is backwards for a moon. Pluto is the last planet in our solar system. It is so far away from the sun that 1 year on Pluto is 248 years on Earth. Pluto's orbit is strange too. Sometimes it is the furthest planet from the sun, and sometimes it's not. Boys and girls, I have a secret to share with you. This planet, Pluto, it's not a planet anymore. This book was written a long time ago. Why don't you do some research and find out what happened to Pluto? Did it disappear? Did it just not become a planet anymore? What happened with Pluto? Do some research and let me know what you find out, okay? A star is made of giant clouds of hydrogen gas. Gravity pulls the gas into a ball and then starts shrinking it. As the ball gets smaller, it heats up inside and gets brighter. Eventually, the heat pushes out enough to stop the ball from getting smaller, and the ball becomes a star. Our sun is a star. It looks big because it is much closer than the other stars. The light given off by stars takes years to reach Earth, so when we see a star in the sky, we are actually seeing how it looked many years ago. Gravity tends to hold millions of stars together in groups called galaxies. Our galaxy forms a spiral shape called the Milky Way. Are you ready to go back to Earth? Let's begin the countdown. Ready? 10, 9. The length of a day is different on each planet. One day and night on Earth is 24 hours because that's how long it takes our planet to turn or rotate on its axis one time. Each planet turns around at a different speed, so its day is a different length. Perhaps in the future, when people live on other planets, we will need to invent a special new word for a day on Earth and other new words for a day on Mars, a day on Venus, and so on. To help us talk about space, we have already invented some new words such as light year, space shuttle, escape velocity, and spaceport. 8, 7. Some people call space heaven. In ancient times, people thought that there was a dome over the Earth like a bowl turned upside down over a dish. Now we know that space is much larger than that. No one knows just how big it is. The word for limitless time and space is infinity. 6, 5. Are there things that are alive? As far as we know, the only living creatures are on Earth. We have sent messages into space to see if any life forms might respond. Our message has pictures of what humans look like and a recording saying hello in many languages. Right now, scientists are trying to communicate using radio wave messages. What do you think an ET, an extraterrestrial, would look like? 4, 3, this is life for me. Astronauts not only have to run the spaceship, but they also have to do many other tasks. They have to do experiments, clean the ship, not easy without gravity. Eat, sleep, exercise, and talk with people on Earth. Life in space is an exciting challenge. 2, 1, have fun! A spaceship does not need wings to fly because there is no air in space. To travel from one place to another, the astronauts merely turn the rocket engines on and coast to where they want to go. To stop, they put the engine in reverse. 0! Maybe you can be a space hero. There's so much about space that we still do not know. Just like the explorers on Earth long ago, space explorers may discover new and exciting places. Would you like to be a space explorer? Alright, boys and girls, remember the name of our book was Blast Off, a space counting book. I hope you enjoyed today's book, and I hope it got you excited about learning more about space. Let me know all the wonderful, fun things you find out. Have a good day. Goodbye.